Why does he kind of look like Wentworth Miller? A drink and a snack, who knew? Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome, hope you'll stay, hope I make a good impression. By the way guys, don't mind how I look like really gross right now. I like just got out of the shower. Today we're gonna talk about what is a script and how do you write one. So to make it as short as possible, a script is basically just a physical version of what you don't want and what you do want in a reality, a specific to like kind of like narrow down so your mind knows where to send you off, if that makes sense. Metaphorically, it's kind of like having the address to the place you need to go to. You need the address to be able to show up at this awesome, really cool fucking party with all of these hot people, you know? But I would like to give a little bit of a PSA. You do not need a script whatsoever. I've shifted without every single time. And there are different ways for you to make a script. There are different places where you can make these scripts. You can make them on Notion. I make them on Notion. You can use Google Documents. You can use your phone's notes app. You can use them on wherever you want to. You can write them down physically, or you can just keep it in your head. You can also do that. You don't need to write it down, because you writing down all of these things is because you already know what you want. So why not just completely erase the step and not write it down, because you already have it in here, you know? And so how do you write a script? There's no specific way to write a script, and you can find many templates online. If you don't know what a template is, it is basically just the skeleton of the script. It outlines what you can add to said script for whatever DR. There's templates for every popular reality you can think of. So I would recommend, if you don't like making scripts but you feel like it's necessary, I would recommend looking for templates for your more popular DRs. If you have more niche DRs, I would recommend making it yourself, because it's going to be really difficult to find it. The less people you know of that shifts to these places, the harder the template is going to be to find, you know? Everyone makes their script differently. I'm gonna scoot over here so you can see how I make mine. I usually put it into categories of 5 maybe, depending on the reality I want to go to. And then within these categories, the things I want to put in is also different. Like with my Hogwarts College DR, I write what house I'm in, what house pet I have that I bring with me from home, what my wand is made out of, what my Patronus is, what year I'm starting in. All of these things are stuff that I cannot add to other scripts that aren't Hogwarts related, you know? So it's specific from reality to reality what I write in it. But there are overall things that I like to add in every single one, which are family, or more specifically parents, whether dead or alive. Anything about me, name, age, birthday, what I look like in that reality. I don't really use face claims, but I fine-tune what I look like, if that makes sense. If you don't know what a face claim is, it is choosing someone else's body or like face as to what you want to look like. Like if you want to look like Angelina Jolie, you can just script that you look like Angelina Jolie in that reality, and then you will shift there and you look like Angelina Jolie. Sometimes I also script my height if that's necessary, but if not, then I don't. A thing that I always recommend scripting, that I add to every single one if I remember, is scripting that I have unlimited amounts of money, which means I will not be able to care or like be nervous around if I have enough money for whatever. So that's kind of like out of the way, you know? But yeah, I recommend looking at scripts to kind of like get a feel for whatever it is that you want to add. But there are basics, like I just added, about yourself, name, age, what you want to look like, what your family, who your family is, who your friends are, where you live, when you'll shift to. Sometimes I don't usually script scenarios, but what I like to do is script my first day there, so I kind of like know what to visualize when I do try to shift. Like I said, I'm using Notion. You can see these are all of my scripts for different DRs. Hello. So, yes, so depending on if I have scenarios that I scripted, I usually only have 5. I have about me, I script name, age, when I was born, about my family, if they're non-existent or not. I scripted, in my Marvel DR, I scripted how I joined the Avengers, and I scripted what my powers are. I scripted the name that people will give me as a superhero. And to be a little OP, I scripted that I'm the most powerful being in the entire universe. I didn't script human, so there are no other aliens that are more powerful than me. Loophole. I scripted my first day there. Like for my Marvel DR, I will wake up in there, so I start writing from when I wake up until I feel like I don't need anymore. So here, what I've written down could last for a couple of hours maybe. And I scripted my safe word, and I scripted time ratios. If you don't know what a safe word is essentially you saying a word with the intention of shifting back if because there are a lot of people who's afraid that they don't know, that they won't be able to like shift back, or they forget how to. So they have a safe word because when they say that word, they put the intention in that word that they want to shift back. So when they say it, they will shift back. And if you don't know what time ratios are, it is essentially how many hours you want to pass in your DR versus here. So in my Marvel DR, I use that for not just my Marvel DR, I use that for every DR. I script that when 7 hours have passed here, 7 days have passed there. So 1 hour to 1 day ratio. Yeah, I scripted relationships. They can both be family, it could also be friends, it could be like romantic relationships. I've scripted in family. I think I've also scripted in like a long time best friend. Yeah, I haven't scripted relationships. No, that's a lie. I haven't scripted in friendships because I just want to see. I don't want to like write anything down and be like, everyone loves me. Which you could, by the way. I'm just not really into that. And then I have an extra section, which is just me being extra. Adding things about myself, about the world, that I would want to happen. In my extra section, in my Harry Potter Hogwarts College DR, I scripted about Voldemort not being a thing, and that Mateo exists, but he was adopted because Tom Riddle and Bellatrix got put into Azkaban, and so he was adopted to another nice family, and so he doesn't follow in their footsteps. But in this one, I script that Pietro, I like to say that correctly, and that he doesn't die fighting Ultron. And I scripted that Bucky, and with Bucky, because he's my significant other in my Marvel DR, I scripted that he cannot become the Winter Soldier again, that he already went to Wakanda when I shifted there, and I shifted there to a month before Age of Ultron takes place. So I also script things about myself. I script that I'm not awkward, that I have perfect teeth because I have worn braces. I scripted things about the world, like no sexism, no ableism, no sexual assault, no climate crisis, all of that. But I've also scripted in funny extra things. A thing that I've scripted in is that Stan Lee is there, and whenever I seem to be in a bit of a problem or a crisis or something, he always ends up showing up at the right place at the right time and gives me the right advice. Just to feel a little nostalgic, you know? So yeah, like I said, it all depends on your DR, what you want to add. But there are specific things like who you want to be friends with, who you want to date, who your parents are, who you are, how the world around you works, stuff like that. But then there are specifics, like if it's Hogwarts, if it's Marvel, if it's Attack on Titan, if it's Supernatural, if it's Rick and Morty, if it's The Vampire Diaries, if it's Shameless, if it's Avatar, if it's Stranger Things, if it's Shadowhunters, if it's How I Met Your Mother, if it's Ginny and Georgia, if it's Minecraft. It's on the top of my head, not my scripts. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!